Mcnair gives it to George, running right up the middle. Touchdown! Titans! There are no flags on the field! It's a miracle!
The safety, now you're one-on-one with it.
Shows why he's the man! In trouble. Sack!
Titan Nation, welcome back to another episode of Mr. Titan. Today, I have a special guest. Again, 1995 third round draft pick. We have the wide receiver, number 81, Chris Sanders. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good, man. But before we start the show, man, you know I'm gonna talk bad about you.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, you got a McGrath jersey back there. You got a Pollard jersey back there. I mean, I don't see not Mcnair 81 back there. That's what I'm upset about. I mean, you bring me on the show, man. I'm excited. I rush home and I put on my Superman cape, all that stuff to be on the show, and I don't see a number 81 back there.
Hey,
my heart's broken.
Hey, the crazy thing is, to be honest with you, before I even had the show and I had only pictures, those jerseys were never there until they came on the show. I'm just saying.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
Okay. That's a good comeback. At least have a little rookie card up there or something.
It is. It's up on the top. You can't see it. My head's in the way.
Yeah.
But again, it's great to have you on, man. How are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing pretty good, man. I just got done watching Judge Judy. That's my favorite show. She's kind of cute, man, and so I like watching that. And I think with all this pandemic stuff been going on, I think I watch every show from Netflix. I mean, thank God for Netflix, and I'm watching Hulu and all that stuff. But man, just had a pretty good day. We had football practice this morning because I coach at Montgomery Bed Academy. So I'm just resting up. We got a big scrimmage against Henry County tomorrow. So just got to get my thoughts ready and get ready to go down there and get after Henry County.
There you go, man. Again, you seem like a busy man. Again, have you watched anything? I know the All-Star, not the All-Star game, but the Cowboys-Steelers game. I was watching a little bit of it, got a little bored of it, and it kind of changed it. But it's nice to have kind of football back. I know that.
You just said two teams I don't like.
I mean, me neither, brother. Me neither. But, I mean, it's football, right?
Yeah.
It's a little bit of normalcy back,
Yeah.
So.
I mean, it is. I mean, we got a lot to be thankful for because last year we didn't have football. Last year they really didn't have a camp. And last year we wasn't talking about the things that are going on in the NFL. So even though it's two teams I don't like, the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Dallas Cowgirls, I mean, you just glad that football's back. Just to have it on TV and just have people in the stands. I mean, it's something that we miss, and we should never take it for granted because last year there was like one person in the stand, me and you was in the stands. You was on the left, I was on the right. So it's just good to have football back.
It definitely is. It's crazy. Like you said, you can't take things for granted because at first,
Right.
it wasn't like, oh, they had the crowd noise, but like the fake, the fake crowd noise. And it's not the same, bro. It's not the same. It's not the same.
Not.
It's
Because
crazy.
a cardboard can't cheer when you make a touchdown. This is what they do when you make a touchdown. That's all it does.
Yeah, the cardboard just staring
That's
at
all it
you.
does.
No emotion.
Exactly. They be like, cheer. They be like. Yeah. So yeah, man, I'm so thankful. And the thing about it, even though it's preseason, it just feels different. And when I say different, I mean just even the Tennessee Titans training camp going on with all the buzz going over there with AJ Brown and Julio Jones and Derrick Henry and the defense, preparing for a great season. You got Autry, you got Dupree, you got Farley, you got a lot of guys over there. So it just feels different, with coming into this season because last year at this time we wasn't sure if they were going to have a camp or can they have OTAs. None of that. And this year they actually have it as opposed to being on Zoom.
Yeah, definitely. And it's always good to see. And especially it showed kind of how important it was to actually have training camp and even to have a preseason because you saw how many injuries there were and stuff. So it's pretty crazy. And I think a lot of people don't take preseason for granted anymore because I'm all about it. I'm all about it. So
I think we need preseason because that's how players develop. I mean, and that's how guys that you don't think will make the team will make the team. I mean, nobody would have heard of Cortland Finnegan if we didn't have those preseason games, because that's what put Cortland Finnegan on the top. And just give you an example, I remember in 1996, and this is a true story. There's a receiver that came in from Texas A&M, and his name was Chris Sanders. And I was like, man, you got my name. I mean, big old tight. He was a tight end, but he played receiver. So he came in, and, he came in as undrafted and all those things and whatever. So he gets into camp, and he gets on special teams, and he's on the bubble of making the team and not making the team. So, we go on the last preseason game, and he's playing kickoff. I mean, it's a big old dude running down to play kickoff, and he jumps over the wedge, and he knocks out the returner, and that's how he made the team. So that's why it's so important, because you find those little diamonds in the rough. Because we always focus on the first rounder, the second rounder, the third rounder, but we never focus on the kid that's a diamond in the rough that didn't get drafted. And those are the guys that are hungry, like a Cortland Finnegan, like a Josh Evans. Josh Evans didn't get drafted, and he was a vital part of that Super Bowl team run.
Yeah, definitely. And then it's always good. Like you said, you never know what you have until they play. So definitely a big shout out to preseason and all that stuff. Yeah. Now, you transitioning, you went to Ohio State.
Okay, time out. Flag on the play.
Nah,
flag on the play.
I don't like Ohio State. I'm sorry. I'm just saying.
Flag on the play. Yeah, we have all sides. Flag on the play. D, you gotta say D. Thank God.
I'm not gonna say it. I'm not saying it, man. I'm sorry. I love you to death, but
I'll be like that poster.
Yeah. I'm gonna be talking to you the whole time. You're just gonna be.
Yeah.
I love it. Love it.
Yeah,
so, like I was saying before I got interrupted, so playing college ball, right. Did you always want to play football? Was that your main focus, growing up and stuff? Was there something else that you wanted to do, and kind of football just kind of fell into play? How did that kind of work out for you?
No, I played football as a young age. I played when I was in the third grade, and I absolutely loved it. Actually, I didn't play receiver when I was in the third grade. I played running back. I looked really gross in my uniform. My pads were big, one bar, face mask, all those things that I looked terrible in. But I started to play it, and I loved it. And the funny thing about it is when I was a young kid in the third grade, I would visualize myself, catching the ball in the NFL, and I'll be falling, as a kid, whatever. Then in 1995, the same way I was holding my hands as a kid to catch that football was the same way I caught my first touchdown against the Cincinnati Bengals. So it was I didn't know if I was going to get there or not, but I had a dream to get there, and all of a sudden it happened, and I'm very, very thankful.
Definitely. Now, how was the transition from college ball to the NFL? Again, it's different. I've gotten different takes from different players. All of them kind of gave me a little bit different, just depending on the position they played and stuff. Right. But as of you, what did you find out? What was like the eye opener? Like, okay, this is the big leagues.
I mean, just the complex of defenses. I mean, that's it. I mean, and it's basically the same, because you got to remember, when I played at The Ohio State University, every year we went against fast people. I mean, Joey Galloway was fast. We had like 3 or 4 defensive backs that ran 4.3 and 4.4, so I understood the speed. It was just understanding the technique and mastering your craft, because when I came out of The Ohio State University, I was a real fast receiver. I could run and jump, but my route running was okay. But once I got in the NFL and I got with Les Steckel, who taught me the characteristics and the skill set of running routes, how to burst off the gut, how to chest underneath, how to get the guy off the spot, how to head fake at the top, how to put chocolate sauce around, all those things that I didn't know as a wide receiver.
Yes, sir.
I knew him in the NFL, and that's why it took my game to a whole different level. So when I came in as a rookie, I was raw, but then Les Steckel took my speed and my jumping ability and mixed it with technique, and then that's why I made the all-rookie team and averaged 23.5 yards a catch.
Gotcha. Perfect. That's awesome, man. And like I said before, I've gotten different responses. It's always interesting just to hear, other people's approaches to that and stuff like that. Now, the draft, when you got picked up in the draft, you got, obviously the Houston Oilers.
Mm-hmm.
How was playing, in Houston, that team, and then the transition to, going to the Tennessee Titans, Tennessee Oilers and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Everyone knows.
I was just happy to be playing in the league. So the transition from Houston to Tennessee, it wasn't a big deal. We could have played in somebody's backyard. We could have played in somebody. We could have played in the garage. I just wanted to play football. So I was just happy to be playing football. But even though, when we left Houston and we played in Memphis and we got booed in Memphis, I didn't care. I just wanted to play football. I wanted to live out my dream. So, I know a lot of people were struggling with the transition. It didn't bother me because my dream was to play in the NFL, and my dream is coming to fruition. So it didn't care where we played. We could have played in Italy somewhere. We could have played in Zimbabwe. I just want to play football. But when I got here, the one thing that I learned is the team embraced us in Nashville. The team embraced us, and they really didn't know about us. They know about Stephen Mcnair and Eddie George, but they really didn't know about a lot of the players. So once we came in, they embraced us. And then the second or third year, we went to the Super Bowl. The expectation level was so heavy. So it was just a great opportunity for us to come to Tennessee.
Definitely. And again, it's still a young franchise,
Yeah.
And a lot of people are like, oh, well, there's like division, and people get upset with the Houston Oilers. That if you cheer still for the Houston Oilers compared to the Tennessee Titans,
it's the same team.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
It's the same team. It's just don't get it mixed up with the Texans. That's a whole different organization. Houston Oilers and the Titans are the exact same team.
Yeah.
So people are like, I don't like the Houston Oilers. Wait a minute. But I like the Titans. Wait a minute. That's like not liking Judge Judy and Judge Wapner. It's still a judge show.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's a judge show. Christmas.
Oh man, but yeah, so that the whole thing, and that was another thing about those throwbacks and stuff like that. Since next year they're gonna be able to have them. I think people were complaining for like Houston fans and even Titan fans are like, oh, we shouldn't go back to the old school Oilers jerseys, but
stop.
Exactly. Why?
It's tradition, man. I mean, it's like watching different shows when Gary Coleman say, "What you talking about, Willis?" I mean, like, what you talking about? It don't make it's the same team. Who cares? It's the same team. Now, it'll be a disservice if we wore some Texans jerseys. Yep. I mean, yeah, you can get in an uproar, but it's still a Houston / Titans. It's the same organization. It's the same records. It's the same stuff that goes on. Like, it's like this, okay? Just imagine because I think I'm ranked like number 10 in all time, as receivers coming in with the Houston Oilers. Mm-hmm. That record doesn't change when it became the Titans. I still have that record.
Absolutely.
So people got to understand, and I think people just think that I think they're misunderstood. That they think it's two different entities because they moved from Houston to to Tennessee. It's still the same team, just different cities and different states.
Definitely, yes. People like to fight over it.
I just go like this. I'll be like that little cardboard.
You be the cardboard. That's our thing now, bro. That's the thing. You're gonna be talking to me like
that's our new thing, the cardboard.
I like that. I might send you a cardboard so you can sign. All right, I'll print out a big ass cardboard so you can.
Yeah.
I'll put it in the back so the next time you on, we're gonna have you in the cardboard box. You're gonna be there the whole time. But like, yeah, Chris Sanders was just there.
I guess.
I like it, man.
Yeah, that's it, man. That's it.
Now coming into, was there any wide receiver that you wanted to mimic or that you idolize or was like, man, that's my go-to person. That's what I want to do.
It was two guys from the Pittsburgh Steelers, Lewis Lips and Lynn Swann. I mean, just two great wide receivers, just poetry in motion. I watched how they ran routes. I watched how they caught the ball and jump over people and just make those great plays. So I would really mimic them. But the one player that I looked up to, he's not a receiver, was John Elway.
Okay.
John Elway, because I'm from Denver, Colorado, and I grew up watching John Elway. True story. I think I was in the 8th grade, and I'm watching John Elway beat the Cleveland Browns when they did that 99-yard comeback or 99-yard drive to win the game to go to the Super Bowl. So I'm sitting there and I'm praying and I'm like, come on, John Elway, you can do it. And I never how can I say this? I dreamt about playing against John Elway. Mm-hmm. And in 1995, I never thought that dream would come true. And in 1995, I played against John Elway, and I had my best game of my whole career against the Denver Broncos.
Wow.
Against John.
Wow.
True story.
Now, you think you upped your game because you were playing against him? Or it just happened, the stars aligned, and you know what, that's what just happened?
it just happened. I had one of my best games. I mean, I had like 7 or 8 catches for like 150, 3 touchdowns, just crushing them.
Damn.
Something like that. But man, hey, and then because it's funny because when I ran out the tunnel, I saw John Elway, and I went and asked for an autograph, and he gave it to me, but I lost it. But it's terrible. And after the game, he came, he shook my hand, he said, "Man, you're."
I pulled it off, bro. I had to. That's what John Elway is doing right now.
That's what John Elway.
He's like, he lost my damn autograph.
He shook my hand, and then I told him it was an honor to meet him. He said, "Man, you're a great young player." And I appreciate it. Just one of the greatest players I've ever been around.
Wow, that's cool stuff right there, man. Obviously a Hall of Famer, and that's amazing, man.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, talking about that game, I mean, like you said, you had 7 or 8 catches for 150 yards, 3 touchdowns, and those are one of the ones that you still stand out to this day and stuff, even right now as you talk about it. What's another game that you played that is kind of like, hey, like every time you talk about football or anything like that, you kind of bring it up?
It's the Kansas City Chiefs.
Kansas City Chiefs.
It was my rookie season, and as I'm playing wide receiver, I'm dog tired. We're like down by 7, and it's 4th and 13, and I'm so tired. I don't even know it's 4th and 13. So they call a post, and I run like a post, and I jump over 4 or 5 guys to catch the ball to tie the game. And that's one of the games that I always remember because I remember I was dog tired. I was like, man, I don't want to run a post. Next thing you know, I jump up and catch the ball. We tie the game. I mean, a couple of minutes later, we lose the game. But that's one of the games that I always remember about playing it. But yeah, it was a good game.
All right. And how about playing in the Super Bowl? Playing against the Rams. I mean, again, it's a heartbreaker. Again, everyone knows. But how was just that in general? That Tennessee Titans, again, a young Tennessee Titans, brand new, going to, playing the Rams.
It was surreal. I think the coolest part about it was, and I know this might be a little off the subject, but as I'm coming out the tunnel, I hear a voice like, Chris, come over here. And I ran to the corner, and it was about 15 or 16 people with an 81 jersey. I was like, oh my gosh. I mean, I literally were in tears because for somebody, number one, to have on my jersey, but to represent my name at the Super Bowl, I mean, that was just amazing. Then you get to the game, and I remember Faith Hill was singing the national anthem, and you can just feel the chills. And you see Jeff Fisher, huddling up the guys, and you have Eddie George, giving us a rah-rah speech and all those things. And it was just kind of one of those things that you dream about, and it's surreal, and it just goes by so quick. But man, it was one of those moments that you never forget. And I just remember on the last play of the game, where Kevin Dyson, reached out and we came up a yard short. It felt like, you ever been in a dream and you're running from somebody and you feel like you can't move and you're going real slow?
Yep.
That's it. Like the cardboard.
Like a cardboard.
When he was like, I was like, go, Kevin. Oh, no. And then the confetti came down and we lost. But at the end of the day, even though I was sad, even though I was hurt, but you got to put in perspective that I played in the Super Bowl of a dream that came to fruition. So I love it.
Yeah, man. Those moments. I mean, you got. Are
you about to tear up? Are you about to tear up?
Yeah, man. That's sad, man. It's sad. I mean, every time my friend dogs me every time, bro. Every time. my friend will send me the picture. He goes, "How are the Titans doing?" And he'll send me that picture of Kevin Dyson just reaching out. I go, "Damn, man. Why do they do that to us?"
But you know what? Playing the Super Bowl and we did some great things because we was a team that year before that. We were 8-8, 8-8, 9-7, really on the brinks of making it. But I'll never forget, we were playing the Cincinnati Bengals, and we beat them 36-37 and won on the last play. And when we went in the locker room, I walked in the locker room for the first time. I said, this team is different. This team is totally different because now we got a team that's figuring out how to win. We had a nucleus of guys, and we brought guys in that had a high motor. We had guys brought in that knew their role. We brought a lot of guys in that were not selfish. I mean, we had a lot of veteran guys. When you start adding a guy like Samari Rowe, we had a guy like Javon Curse and Josh Evans, who was undrafted, guys that practice hard and work hard and love each other. It put us in position to win the game because I'm going to tell you something. I would say this in practice all the time. If I can beat my defense, that means I can beat any defense in the league. And the reason why I say it is the way we practice. Blaine Bishop, Marcus Robertson, a lot of guys that just loved to play football and practice like it was their last play. So that's what prepared us. Guys who loved each other, guys who worked hard, guys who practiced hard, guys who loved each other. And here's the key. Everybody knew their position, but the common denominator that brought it together was love. And that's why we went to the Super Bowl.
There you go, man. I mean, you can't tell it anymore. That's amazing and stuff like that. And again, it was a great team. Again, with Eddie George. I mean, you named a bunch of guys, Blaine Bishop. I mean, you had Steve Mcnair. How was Steve? Throughout the course of your career and stuff. I mean, did you his personality, just anything off topic, just about Steve in general, man?
Number one, he would sleep. He'll be asleep before the game. he would. He'll be sleeping. Like it's kind of one might be like, oh, okay. That's kind of. He was just kind of like I'm chilling until I go put on my Superman cape. But here's the one thing about Steve McNair. I watched a guy mature to a great quarterback. The first couple of years, because we got drafted the same year, he struggled a little bit, but he stuck with the process. I mean, there's times where, he came from Alcorn State, came in with a lot of hype, but then your first 2 years, you have to sit there. He didn't give up, and he trusts the process. And there's another thing that I love about Steve McNair. He's probably one of the toughest guys I've ever been around.
Oh.
Hurt sternum, hurt ankle. And I'm going to give you a story. We were playing the Dallas Cowboys. It's playing tonight. Who stinks? And the play before, he broke his finger. His finger was faced this way. Can you see that finger? It was broke that way. And he's sitting there calling the play, and everybody looking at him. Eddie George and Frank Wycheck was going to call a timeout. Like, man, you want to get a timeout? And all he said was, no, I'm good. That's all he said. I'm good.
Wow.
I was like, man, you want to call a timeout? He's like, no, I'm good. So now he gets up there, he calls a play, and I'm sitting there looking at him, and he gets under center, and all you see is this. He pops it back in. He takes the ball. He takes the ball from the center and runs a 46-yard touchdown. Gives the ball to the ref. Draws back to the sideline. The doctor's trying to come and say, "You're all right." He's like, "I'm good."
Wow.
I would have been like, "Get me out of here!" You ever watch Rocky when they say, "Stop the fight"? Yeah. Stop the fight.
With Apollo Creed, throw the damn towel. Yeah. He goes, throw the towel. I remember that's classic. Win. Yeah. Ooh.
Yeah. I would have did that. Throw the towel, Rock. I would have did exactly that. But hey, one of the toughest cats I've ever met.
Wow. That's amazing. Again.
Tearing up again.
Yeah, man, it's sad. And with the finger, I would have passed out probably on the floor. I wouldn't even get a chance.
In that way, dude.
Oh, God.
All you just see is this. I mean, just
damn.
Popped it in and let's go for a 46-yard touchdown.
Wow. Tough as nails. That's awesome. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Now, again, you had a great NFL career and stuff like that. Now, after the NFL, did you know exactly what you want to do? Did you end up wanting to do, what you're doing now is coaching? You wanted to coach youth, college ball? What was the direction you were going with?
I had no idea what I wanted to do. And even when I retired, I'm like, I did not want to coach football. I want to be away from football as much as I just been around so much. I just wanted to get away from it. But I met a young lady at the gym one time, and she was like, this school was looking for a wide receiver coach. I'm like, no, I'm not doing it. She's like, just come out and try it. And then the head coach got in contact with me, like, why don't you just come out and try it, whatever. I'm like, man, I do not want to do this. I don't want to know about, fighting defenses and getting guys out of the spot. I just don't want to do that. So what I did, they dragged me out. They're like, man, just come out. So I went out there for camp, and I started watching these kids on how the words you say to them, how they respond. Mm-hmm. And I'll never forget this. It was this one guy named Trip where, man, I'm not going to get teary-eyed, but he's one of those kids where we had an instant connection. He worked hard, one of the best wide receivers I ever coached, and he said this at the banquet. He stood up. He said, "You're the father figure I've been looking for." And I just was like, whoa.
That's heavy.
I saw a tear came down his eye, and I said, you know what? That's why I want to coach right there. And that's why I love it today. Because the thing about it is you can develop players in running routes. You can develop players on how to get off the spot. You can develop players in all these areas. But when you're developing a player, you're also developing a man. Perfect. When you're developing a man and they become a great wide receiver, and they become a great man, that's what my job is. I love doing it. And all the trials and tribulations that I went through of, people saying I can't make it and saying I can't do that and persevering. Now I understand there's a purpose why I coach, because there's a kid that I coached at Montgomery Bay Academy, and everybody was talking about how bad he was and he'll never amount to anything and, this and that. So what I did, I said, you know what? meet me at 6 o'clock in the morning on the football field. He was like, huh? I said, meet me at 6 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday. Don't go watch Judge Judy. Don't go watch SpongeBob SquarePants. I want you to meet me at the field. So he shows up, reluctantly, and he's standing on the track. And I said, everybody's been saying that you can't play. Everybody is saying that you can't amount to anything. I said, when you step on this football field, that old guy's dead. That new guy is gonna be great. And tears ran down his eyes, and he hugged me. I looked him in the eyes. I said, if you trust me, number one, you're gonna be a great man. You're gonna be one of the greatest wide receivers that ever come out of the NBA. And here's the good part. All that stuff that he did, but here's the great part. He just got married. He's got a kid. And he's a manager of a bank.
Wow.
The same kid that they said wouldn't make it is the same kid that's leading in a bank and that's leading his wife and having a child.
Perfect.
That's why I love coaching.
There you go. That's beautiful right there. And that's now you're gonna get me tear-eyed for real. No cardboard, nothing, man. That's awesome. Hey,
Cardboard.
but you can call it the cardboard. But that's amazing, though. Again, that's awesome that again you're involved, and not only do you teach kids, but like you said, you're almost like a father figure, and that's amazing, man. That's a really nice story, and continue doing that, man. Continue doing that, because I mean, especially now in the world, man. It's
we need it, man.
Oof,
because somebody did that for me. Les Steckel, my receiver coach, and Sherman Smith, the running back coach for the Titans, they did that for me.
Perfect.
So it's like a 4x1 relay. I got to pass the baton.
Exactly, man. But I want to say again, thank you for coming on. It's been an honor. It's been fun, man. It's been a blast, and hopefully we can get you back on eventually, maybe later on down the season. I know you do the TD. You do something with TD, right?
It's hilarious. It's hilarious.
TD, cool.
TD is hilarious. That's where I got that. Because if I say something that he disagrees with, he's like, stop the fight. Like, throw in the towel. So that's where I got all that from. He's like,
I like it.
Listen to it Sunday, not Sunday, this Saturday morning at 7.
Okay.
He throws on one and I just start cracking up. But it's fun. He's great. He's gonna be on ESPN one day. Great dude.
Yeah. TD is an awesome person. I told him, I messaged him a couple of days ago, like just thanking him for his. Because he's not only a reporter, but he does the whole game. He doesn't just do the draft picks, He doesn't get this is what Elijah Molden is. He actually observes everyone, and that's what I like,
Oh, he's good at what he does, man.
Yeah, he's awesome what he does. So yeah. I'll definitely I'll tag him in this video when we start joking around about the throw.
Hey, when you talk to him, tell him I said, stop the fight. He's going to immediately laugh. But listen to it Saturday morning at 7 because he got me, man, at the end because he's so funny, man. I love working with that dude, man.
Definitely. But again, Chris, thank you so much for coming on, brother, and thank you for the work you put on and off the field. Again, it's very appreciated, man. And
man, you're welcome, man. Appreciate you, my man.
Hey, God bless, man.